I'm Corinne Cheeseman and I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the Australian Water Association. I'm going to be talking about 5 key areas that are very important for Australia's sustainable water future. Climate change is reducing the availability of water through rainfall, and so we will need to look at other options in addition to desalination that are climate independent, like recycled water. Recycled water is used in industry. The technology is there to provide clean and safe drinking water if we are able to treat used water or wastewater to drinking water standard. So that is something that there are a number of water utilities in Australia are working on. There is an example in Western Australia where they use aquifer replenishment, where they treat wastewater or used water and recharge the aquifer and then treat it again for drinking in about 10 years. There are multiple treatment processes that recycled water goes through. The biggest barrier to drinking recycled water or purified recycled water, which we call the yuck factor, so the community acceptance and understanding is really important part. So the strategy is to give them options to engage and understand what the treatment processes are, how that works. Things like taste testing can also help. The PFAS is in our food, it's in our clothes, it's in our makeup, it's in our cleaning products, and we're just starting to understand what regulation looks like. We're looking to greater treatment options in the longer term so that we're able to remove PFAS and microplastics and other chemicals where they're detected at higher levels and are deemed to be safe based on the regulatory conditions in that jurisdiction. And those things include granular activated carbon, potentially reverse osmosis to remove the particles or have the particles adhere through that treatment process so that the water that is supplied to communities is clean and safe to drink according to those regulatory guidelines and safe drinking levels. Some of these technologies for treatment exist and are used for other sorts of chemicals or contaminants of concern. So they're readily available. It just might be that some treatment plants haven't had the need to implement this level of treatment because they are more costly. Australia is going through a population boom. We're finding, for example, bigger cities are depleting their water supply in dams at a much faster rate, just with the population we have today, than we did, say, 10 years ago. And so the infrastructure requirements are going to be really significant. We'd like to think about infrastructure not only as our traditional treatment pipes, hard infrastructure, but just looking at things like green and blue infrastructure. Blue-green infrastructure is infrastructure that looks at all of the things that we have at our fingertips, a multitude of options based on the local situation. So it might include things like parks, wetlands, as well as pipes and the movement of water and treatment of water through technology and treatment processes. But it really is an integrated approach that just doesn't focus on traditional engineering processes, if you like, a built environment sort of situation. They look at the precinct as a whole. They look at green roofs are another really big part of that. You can see green buildings. So you've still got the traditional infrastructure that's needed, but you might augment it and integrate it so that you actually maximise the benefits for the community, for the environment, and for the long-term sustainability of water supply. When we look at our water future, water is heavy to move through pipes. Also, the treatment processes require energy to make those work. So the water industry has been really proactive in setting carbon net zero targets and are well on their way to achieving that. In terms of renewable energy, most commonly people think about solar energy and wind power, and those are very important options for desalination plants, for example, or moving water through pipes, particularly in areas where there's high inclines and you're having to pump water into holding towers and reservoirs. But the water industry also is involved in hydropower, so there are many dams in Australia that do produce hydropower, and then they're able to also capitalise on the use of that green energy for energy production as well. The water sector works a lot with industrial processors and consumers, as well as the community for drinking water, and also agriculture. So we're really well placed to work across the different sectors And there is a really big opportunity, particularly as you're looking at new precincts and integrated precincts and communities, to really factor in how we can actually create a circular economy and maximising the use of all resources. Engineers play a really critical role in our resilient, sustainable water future. It's not just about solutions, but it's actually that combination of innovation, digitalisation and public trust or community trust. And without engineers, none of that would be able to occur. Australia is really well placed with the water expertise and engineering expertise that we have in this country to lead in water resilience. And there are some really great opportunities for new and younger engineers to be part of those solutions, using the technology we have, using AI, and building on these opportunities where there's investment in water infrastructure for the future of Australia. Collaboration will be key in terms of government, utilities and the private sector working together on long-term solutions, and that is what is going to make the difference between where we are today and our sustainable water future of tomorrow.